Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Now, today we got a pretty ridiculous show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to our Dreamers Pro Short Clips channel that we will have pinned in the comment section below. So, John Morant. Ja Morant has quickly become one of the most enigmatic sports figures in the past 2 to 3 years. Ja Morant, before Ja came into the NBA, he had a lot of hype. He had a lot of upside. When he came into the league, he proved to be a very young, exciting player to watch for the Memphis Grizzlies. In his very next year, I believe Ja Morant won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. And it just showed you just how serious he was as a basketball player and about the opportunity that he was being given, because really it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, really. I mean, 450 NBA players at any given time playing in this league. And there are literally hundreds of thousands of people trying to get to those spots every single year. And given the fact that now it's a global game, people are literally competing all over the world to make it into the NBA. His second season, he won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. So going into this season, a lot of people had a lot of high expectations for Ja Morant. But then the unthinkable happened. A video came out of Ja Morant in a strip club where he was flashing a weapon. Something that surprised a lot of us from the outside. So once that story broke, we then started to find out other incidents, other disturbing incidents that had occurred, all involving Ja Morant in one way or the other. And a lot of us were like, this cannot be real. A lot of people were really, really, truly befuddled at the fact that Ja Morant will find himself in a situation like this, or in situations like these, given his future, what he has ahead of him, given his talent, given the position that he's in, where this could be one of the first players to probably hit the $1 billion mark by 31 years old. I mean, Ja Morant is on that type of trajectory. Then what happens? The first incident happens with the video. He gets suspended by the NBA, unofficially really for 2 games, but his team suspended him, I believe it was, for 6 games. Misses those games. In the aftermath of that, Ja has a sit down on ESPN with Jalen Rose. In that first sit down, he said, "This is not me." I think even Jalen Rose asked him, whose weapon was it? He said it wasn't mine. Okay. And then Ja Morant went to go speak with the NBA commissioner himself, Adam Silver, to rectify the situation and for them to come to some type of resolution. Adam Silver spoke to Ja Morant, and everything seemed to be corrected. A few months later, we see Ja Morant in a vehicle with some of his friends or whoever it was on IG Live, but this time it wasn't his IG. You see him flash a weapon, which caused the NBA now to really take a deeper look into Ja Morant. And after that, we found out that the league was conducting an investigation, and Adam Silver, right before the NBA Finals commenced, he said that the NBA was able to unearth some additional information. And a lot of people felt like that information that the NBA was able to discover wasn't going to work in the favor of Ja Morant. So then what happens? This morning, combing through the internet, I stumbled upon an article here from fadeawayworld.net. And the moment I read the title, I already knew we was in for some hot BS. But before I even get into this article, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. Let me get into the headline of this. Or we could just read the headline and just be done with the article. Ja Morant's team claims gun in recent Instagram video was a toy. Okay, we could just stop reading right there. Like literally, we could just stop, but we're not. Point guard Ja Morant is one of the top players in the league, and there's no doubt that he is elite when he plays. He's an elite slasher and playmaker, and there's no doubt he's the key to the Memphis Grizzlies' championship hopes. During a recent appearance on The Breakfast Club, Claudia Jordan revealed that Ja Morant's camp claimed that the gun the superstar flashed in a recent Instagram Live incident was, in fact, a toy. She noted that Adam Silver and the league will still suspend him despite them knowing that the gun was fake. My sources say that the relative in the back of the car, in the back seat, handed a toy gun in the car. Jordan said, the gun is not real and the relative was playing around with it. Passed it to Ja, and that got caught on the live he had in his hand. The video was sent to Adam Silver, NBA allegedly. They have it, and they said the gun looks extremely fake, like it's obviously a toy gun, but according to my source, allegedly Adam Silver is still going to throw with the suspension, looking like it should be about 30 games, even though they know it's a toy gun. So the question then becomes, do you believe that it's a toy gun? Well, let's go through this logically. Ja Morant, just follow this, is in a club, okay? Apparently or allegedly intoxicated. He's dancing. He then decides to pull out a weapon and flash it in the Instagram Live. In that case, it was a real weapon. Fantastic. The NBA gets a hold of this information. His team gets a hold of it. They suspend him. The NBA suspends him for 2 additional games. Cost him money because he didn't even make an All-NBA team. And it cost him, a deal with Powerade because they dropped him like a sack of potatoes. Good. 3 months later, Ja Morant is riding around in his car. Good Lord. He's driving around in his car. He's with his friend and a relative in the back seat. The friend is there dancing it up, having a good old time. No problem. The friend then holds his camera up to record the people in the car to show that I'm with Ja Morant. And in that moment, follow this, the relative in the back seat. Now, maybe they just got this relative maybe this relative just came fresh back from one of Elon Musk's rocket ships that he sent to the Mars or the moon. So maybe the relative was not living on planet Earth over the last few months. So maybe the relative was totally unaware that their relative just recently got suspended for flashing the gun. So maybe the relative, you know what? Maybe the relative just came from the moon. I'll give you guys that. The relative had no idea what just happened. This relative just came from the moon. Elon Musk and these guys brought him back. He or she had no idea that Ja Morant just got suspended for this very thing. So what happens? The relative is sitting in the back seat, and the relative says, you know what? I'm going to hand John Morant a weapon, right? I'm not going to flash it in the back seat. No, I'm not going to do that because, well, why would I do that? I'm going to hand the gun to Ja, who's driving. People must really think people are stupid. Apparently they do. They then hand the weapon. Think about this from a practical standpoint. They hand the weapon to Ja. Ja's like, hold up. Let me look at the road. Okay, give it to me. Ja then takes it, this toy gun, and flashes it in the video. Now, the question is, why would John Morant do that knowing he just got suspended? Why would you do that? Why would this relative that just got off the rocket ship? Oh, that's right. They were on the rocket ship, so they didn't know. They were on the rocket ship, so, okay, they didn't know. Does any of this make any sense to anybody? You would have to be a super fool to believe this. And guess what? There are a lot of people out there that would hear this story and they'd be like, man, this makes perfect sense. This explains it all. Of course it was a toy gun. Of course he was flashing it in the video because he was doing that to show what? Stupidity or what? Maybe Ja did that because he's like, yo, I didn't get suspended enough. Maybe I need to get suspended for like another 30 games and blow some more M's. If you believe that story, I'm happy for you. I also got a bridge that I got to sell to you. Because apparently we got a lot of gullible buyers out. We got a lot of suckers out here ready to spend their money. This story makes absolutely no sense from any angle. The only way it works is if his cousin, or his relative, jumped off that rocket ship. Then, okay, I can understand it because that guy didn't know. He or she didn't know. None of this makes sense. Number one. Number two, yo, why are you passing the blame, son? Every little thing is not you. The first weapon is not me. Now this one is not me. Bro, you surely passing that buck all over the place. You don't want none of that smoke, huh? When it looked good up until somebody gets into trouble, all of a sudden it's not me. This is something else the streets frowns upon. This is something the streets frowns upon. If we in the whip, we in the whip together. But on 2 occasions, he's like, it wasn't me. So who was it? If it wasn't you, then who was it? I personally feel zero sympathy for John Morant. Do you know why? Because I think John Morant thinks everybody's stupid. That's what I think. I think John Morant thinks people are stupid. That's what I think. Because you could only tell this story to a stupid person and expect them to believe it. I think John and these people think that people are stupid. And I think they also know that the people out there, they'll defend anything. People today will defend anything. Anything you can think of, somebody can defend. Anything. Literally anything under the sun can be defended these days. That's your man. This is your man. I ain't got nothing to say, but I don't believe this story. But this is your man.